Okay, hi there. My name's Christopher Norm, and today I want to talk about fitting. I am actually making this video specifically for one person, so anyone else watching this, you're very welcome to come along for the ride. And well, let me just give a bit of background. I met this person in a site, in a Blood Raider site. I won't say his name, but his initials are DH. I met him somewhere around here, and we were both in the site together, and I think he asked me in local to leave it for him. I of course didn't. The problem is that there were so many people out there running these sites when I was running them that no one was going to get a site to themselves, no one. So I wasn't going to be able to give do him any favors. I even went into these low jump systems here, and even there were people, but you know, I actually had more sites here, so it's always worth going to the low jump systems. Well, anyway, my technique was to clear out both rooms, with whoever's in there with me, just apply as much damage as possible, and then in the second room, clear the cruisers as normal, but the last cruiser I would decycle my my guns, or actually missiles I was flying a Gila, and pre-overheat them, and then when the battle cruiser appeared, I would let rip with everything I had, overheated weapons, overheated drones, and just applied as much damage as possible to maximize the chance that I was going to get the last hit and therefore be able to scoop the loot. And I was pretty successful. Well, anyway, this individual did email me, email I should say, and he asked me to share my fit, and in fact I was quite happy to oblige. So let me just get this fit up. In fact, this wasn't the exact fit I was flying. I was flying a variation on this. In fact, it was passive. In fact, this isn't a full fit because I can see that there is a module missing here, a large shield extender. I fit a fairly cheap ship for him. I thought he was a new bro and may not have a lot of this, so a T2 tank, EM and thermal, and I will talk about why I chose EM and thermal in a bit. I think these rapid lights were critical for clearing out the frigates because they seem to dodge a lot of the damage from the drones. I maximised my damage from the drones, and I plugged the EM hole, which is also useful for tanking against Blood Raiders. Now, to explain a little bit why we chose EM and thermal with the hardeners, we've really got to look at these damage types here. Now, you can see Blood Raiders here. If you look at this chart, we've got all the pirates down the left, and then we have like these bar charts with nicely color coded. Well, these colors actually represent damage types. So the yellow is explosive damage, the gray is kinetic, the red is thermal, and the turquoise is EM. So all rats, in fact every ship, deals one or more of these damages, and they have resistance, as in they can tank more from certain damages. So if we look at the Blood Raider, they deal damage in the EM and thermal, and but they're weak to EM, and their secondary weakness is the thermal, which is why when we look here, I picked the EM ward and the thermal dissipation field 2s to really boost the resist there. And we can see we got a really nice HP here. Let me have a look, put that specifically to Blood Raider. Yeah, that is Blood Raiders, so 60 HP and a decent recharge rate as well, 210 hit points per second. Well, anyway, he replied to me once I shared that, or I did say, you know, if you can tank it well, drop a large shield extender and change it for an omnidirectional tracking link, which helps the drones with their tracking. And he thanked me. and he tells me he can fly the Gila at level 4. I presume he's talking about the certificates here. He wants to use the Gila for the kinds of missions like before, the Serpentis and now the blood missions. Okay, so I think he's talking about these game events. He currently uses an Ishtar, so let's just find his Ishtar. He was kind enough to share that fit with me. I think this is the fit here. So that's what he currently uses. He uses he says it's good but slow. He uses geckos, as they are strong but slow, and well, he says cheap. Oh, as in cheap, not using any ammo of any kind, although geckos aren't cheap. He asked me why I don't use those drones, as geckos are much stronger than infiltrators, which is what I fit my ship with. He doesn't need a probe launcher, so he's not going to put that on. I actually added the probe launcher because the Gila's a great ship for running these exploration sites. Now, to explain why I use the infiltrators and not the geckos, well, if we look at the stats of the infiltrator, trust me when I say it's EM, so it's hitting into the hole, that resistance hole that these blood raiders have, so it's going to be most effective. Now the geckos give all-round damage. In fact, they're like super drones. If you haven't ever come across a gecko, they're huge. I mean, they're twice the size of large drones, but they deal an immense amount of damage in all damage types equally, so that's why they're popular. Now, why don't I use them? Well, it's to do with the bonuses of the ship. And now this is the UniWiki. It's great for looking up the ship characteristics. We can see here that the roll bonus has 500% bonus to medium combat drone damage and hit points. So this ship is bonus towards medium drones. So the large heavy drones, they don't get that bonus. In fact, if we look at the drone bandwidth, well, geckos I believe are 50 megabit per second bandwidth, and normal larges are 25. So we can't even fly them anyway. So that's why. But with this bonus, 500%, it's like 6 times as many drones as you field. Now, the Gila only fields 2 drones, but that's enough because that multiplies up to like the damage of 12 drones. So even without the bonuses to the drones, we get decent damage. Let's have a look. Let's go back to the Gila again. The drone damage 527. That's fairly decent. 527. That's all 5 character, of course. Add that to the damage of these rapid lights, you know, it's pretty good. Now, before I move on, let's just critique DH's fit. Not bad. It's almost cap stable. Let's turn some stuff off. Would it be cap stable? Yes, it's cap stable without the remote armor repairer, and in fact the afterburner, yes, it's cap stable with the afterburner on. So pretty decent. What I would say though, with just 5 geckos, falling short on the bandwidth, as in there's extra here to field another drone. I'm just picking the Ogre because I know that's got the maximum damage for drones. So we can also field the Ogre, and huge boost to the damage, 779. So even with this fit, there's room for yet more damage. We can upgrade the damage on here as well. We can exchange well, this Ogre, this combat drone, we can have the faction. We can get the augmented Ogre in, which will deal even more damage. It's not cheap, 33 million, but seeing as he's flying geckos anyway, that's probably not going to be an issue. I would suggest also upgrading one of these drone damage. We can get a faction one in there. I know from experience the Imperial Navy is the sort of cheapest one. It's not that cheap, but we're now pushing well over 816 DPS. So that's pretty decent. That's a lot more than what we did have. So let's go back to this healer. He wants me to bling this out, basically. He wants a fast boat, he wants it to be cap stable, and he only wants to use drones. He says the skills are very good, that ISK is no problem, and can I give him a better fit for his objectives? So let's try and do that. He doesn't want missiles, fine. Doesn't want the core probe. Let's get rid of that. We're going to keep the infiltrators, but we're gonna give several other types of drone as well. In fact, we're going to upgrade the infiltrators. Okay, changing my mind. Let's go with the augmented infiltrators. There we go, we're up to 580. Let's put in a whole range of drones actually. Now hammerheads will deal the most amount of damage, so I'm going to just activate these hammerheads so we have a like by like comparison here. We max out 663 with 2 augmented hammerheads. We can boost this yet more. Let's have a look at this module and the Imperial Navy drone damage. Okay, and 681. Okay, so this clearly is not going to be better than the current drone boat he's flying if he just wants drones. But I would suggest that missiles aren't too bad a thing. I presume one of the other reasons he's not flying missiles is because they're a hassle. You have to target stuff. Maybe, there we go, I can't spell. Maybe he likes the sort of AFK farming of these sites, so he just wants to turn up and launch drones and then watch YouTube videos. Fair enough. Fair enough. But we can still achieve that. The rapid light missile launchers, now I'm going to assume he's got the skills to fly them. They will certainly fit. If we load in them some auto targeting ones, basically you don't need to target anything, you just shoot and they will shoot the rats automatically. The healer is bonus to Inferno and the kinetic type. You would always fly either Inferno or Scourge. You'd look at the rat type, you'd pick whichever one is closest to their damage hole. We do have an extra high slot. Now my recollection is that he had a remote armor repairer. Presumably that's because he just wants to fly on the cheap and repair these drones without needing to dock up. So let's see if we can find the small fits. The small just about fits. So there we go. That's a perfectly decent ship. I think we have more room for upgrade. He wants a cap stable, so let's get rid of this micro warp drive and put in an afterburner. These large shields, well, money isn't an issue. The Caldaris would be great. And in fact, I'd be tempted to fly 2 Caldaris. We're going to drop this third one, and I'm just going to show you which one we're going to replace it with in a second. I think the idea is, well, I know the idea is to get maximum damage, because the faster you clear the sites, the more ISK you're going to make, the faster you're going to be able to beat people that are in competition with you. So what I'm doing right now is upgrading these hardeners. The Pith X types look fantastic to me. So we got EM and the thermal, and we've got about as much as we had before, and I've managed to free up a extra mid slot. So we got AHP of almost 60k. My recollection is that we almost had 60k previously, and we had about the same amount of recharge, natural recharge. We can upgrade these field purges. This definitely will fit Tech 2. Now if we turn that off, we're cap stable. Yes, it all fits, and we've got an even higher recharge rate. So this mid slot, so we can't increase our damage, but we can increase the application of damage, and this is especially important with when you're up against smaller targets, which you often are. You're up against usually frigates in missions and these types of sites, and those can take a bit longer to clear, because tracking is an issue, so the drones aren't going to apply the damage perfectly. So I want drone, well, we could go with a drone navigation computer. That's going to make our drones faster, so they're going to get to their targets, shoot it, get to the next target, shoot it quicker. Or alternatively, and this is the one I think we should get, is the omnidirectional tracking link. If money's not a problem, then we can dead space it. Well, not dead space it, faction it. 46 mil, not too bad. That's going to increase our, I'd suggest we load the tracking script, or they carry the other script in your cargo hold, and that there, 681 DPS with the drones, 149 with the guns, that's 830 in total. Fly safe, guys, and if anyone else has got questions and my rambling isn't too rambly for them to be able to understand my answer, drop me an email, Christopher Norm, or put a comment in the comment section below.